Hello, fellow creatives. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. So this sprawling desert mansion can be built at this waterfall at 38 latitude, 55 longitude on the Ragnarok map. In this wing of the house, we have two patios right here next to a waterfall. And if we go upstairs, you will see a small working area or an extra bedroom. It depends on what you want. And if we head down this hallway here, you'll come up with a kitchen spot right here. An open living area right here, and then another area over here that maybe you could use as a dining room or something like that, along with a large patio to entertain company and a smaller patio to entertain just yourself. And then in here we have a nice cool room that's out of the sun 24 hours a day, so that it makes for a nice little comfy bedroom. And then over here we have a garage where you can have some extra storage and also park your bird. It's a little small for dinos, but it's great for birds. So you can expect inspirational building vids like this every weekend right now. So click that bell icon next to the subscribe button to get notified. And if you want to see the creative process I used to come up with this build, check out the card in the corner. Otherwise, let's jump straight into the tutorial. So let's go ahead and take a look really quick at the materials list. This is everything you'll need to build the exterior of the house plus the interior walls. If you're going to do furnishings, I'm leaving that up to you in this tutorial. So go ahead and make sure you plan accordingly. So you're going to start right here at this waterfall. You're going to come over here. You're going to find this little crack, this textured crack right here in the wall. And you're going to take an Adobe foundation. And what you're going to do is you're going to align the grid pattern on the foundation with the surface of the wall. See how I'm kind of doing it? And once you do that, you'll want to rotate to your left just a little bit, like what I just did right there. And then back up until it turns green. And the back right pylon there is just intersecting in that way with the wall surface. And you should have about that gap right in between. And this will let you do everything else that I'm going to be doing in the video. Once you've got this foundation in, we're going to want to go ahead and attach some stone foundations to it. The different color here is just to kind of identify it as the key foundation block so that we can cover it up later and we can hide it so it won't be visible. But these others will. So we're going with stone for these. So we're going to do it like this. We're going to come around like that in kind of a L block shape. And come out two more. Then we'll go up one. And then out three more. 2, 3. And then we'll go down three more. 1, 2, 3. That'll get you to the very end of this. Then we'll come over two more. And that's it for the stone foundations. Nothing else will fit here. So we're going to go ahead and lay the foundations for the dino garage now. And that's where we're going to add in these Adobe foundations here. So this is going to be just basically a 2x6 pattern, like so. And once you have all 6 of these, we can go ahead and start laying out ceilings. So let's figure out how to do that. So we're going to be starting with stone ceilings. So let's go ahead and fill in this whole area here with those. So we're just going to follow along right here, like this, all the way up to our keystone foundation right there. Okay, great. Now on this end, right in this corner, we're going to go ahead and add 2 Adobe ceilings. This is going to be our first balcony. And then let's go ahead, let's come over here and let's add our second balcony. So the way we do that is we bring it 1, 2, 3, 4 across. And this is going to stick out one, so be sure not to screw that up. And then we're going to bring this out. Let's see, we've got 2 width here. That's great. So now we're going to go ahead and use Adobe ceilings to bring them out 4 across here as well. Now we've got a little bit of an issue here, but it's easy to solve because we have pillars. So we can't place anything there. So let's go ahead and fly up a bit. Let's add a pillar right here. And we're going to put one just right here, smack in the middle of this ceiling. And then we're going to go ahead, come down under it. And you can use a Tapahara. I'm cheating in flying, but you can use a Tapahara or a Quetz or something to get under here. Or you can just walk. I mean, the cliff's right there. But you probably will want a flyer for some of this. But we're going to bring this down an extra step like what I just did. So you can snap it right here, but you don't want to do that because it's going to stick up too high if you do that, which I'm trying to visualize. Yeah, you can kind of see that right there at the top of the screen. If you bring it down a little more, right there, and you get rid of this, then this is just going to hang down from the bottom, and it's going to be flush, which is exactly what we want. And then we'll go ahead and we'll attach this to the ground. There we go. So now we have one of those, and we now have foundation support to add this. Awesome. So now we can go all the way across, except we have another problem. So what we need to do is add a foundation pillar right here. And you just do the same thing. You just bring this down, bring it down another little quarter step right there, and then put a pillar right in there, and then get rid of this, and voila, it's pretty smooth. Okay, so this should give us the foundation necessary to bring out our balcony an extra width. Except we have the same issue on this side as we do with this, and, well, we've also got kind of a, look, they don't line up, so we'll need to add 2 sets of pillars, basically, so that they're symmetrical. So we'll just bring this down. Okay, there we go. Just a little hiccup. Sometimes you have to fiddle around with these things, and they don't all stay. It's just kind of weird. But that'll let us put that right there. And then, for symmetry's sake, we're going to go ahead and add a pillar set right here. So we're just going to do the same thing again. Just like so. All right, perfect. Very well. Okay, so once we got those pillars in, we need to do something about this. We need to add a little support here. It's not strictly necessary, although I guess if you want to put walls here, it is a little necessary. So we're just going to do the same thing right here and right here. So go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Very nice. Looks good. And now I know that we are going to want to put a pillar right here because otherwise we won't be able to add railings here later. So I'm putting a pillar right there. And then I think what I will do is try to bring this down like that. And then what we can do is we can just, there you go. So you kind of have to do it without looking because of this outcropping of rock. If you do it right, you're gold. So just leave that right there, and that'll anchor this down so we can add railings later. So our next step is to go ahead and add the ceilings for the upper portion of the house. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to put an Adobe wall right here and just make sure the interior is showing. And then we're going to go ahead and attach a ceiling here to it right here and go out as far as we can, which is about that far. And then we'll put Adobe ceilings right next to it right there. Okay, so this is going to give us a little foundation area to put some more pillars. So we'll want to put a pillar right here and just anchor it down into the ground as far as you can get. It will take a little bit of a trial and error to get this right. There we go. That'll work. So you just attach it to the bottom and it'll go right in. Otherwise, if you put one in the middle, I guess it obstructs. It's kind of weird. Mileage may vary on this, of course, depending on how precisely you place this keystone foundation, but we're going to try to keep working with it. So this will let us move out another width here, but not quite. This will let us place our next pillar, which we're going to do like so. And these are going to kind of stick up a bit, so you may want to... yeah, it may just kind of depend your mileage, which, you know, I think it'll be okay because these pillars are actually going to go up a bit, but we'll get to that step in a minute. So one right there and one right there, and this will let us put a pillar right here. Very good, very good. All right, so now that we have those, we can go ahead and add stone across here, like so. And now, when we come out 2 from the wall, 1, 2, can come out 1 more, and then go up, oops, I'm sorry, with stone pillars, go up 2. So we can't quite go up 2 just yet. So here's how we're going to square this little conundrum. We're just going to add pillars where we can along the edge. So there's one right there. All right, so that's placed. Let's go ahead, let's place stone ceiling right here. Let's try to come up 1 more here. we can't do much here, but what we can do is we can place a stone ceiling right here. And what we're going to do with this one, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, what we're going to do with this one is it's going to be completely temporary. This is just going to be our anchor object so that we can bring out a ceiling to this point, and then we're going to anchor this down. And we're going to delete this off right now, and that'll hold this one down. And that's also going to let us place the ceiling right there. Pretty ingenious, right? And then we'll come back to this in a moment. What we need to do is we need to build out our next balcony. So let's do that. Let's bring it out 2 more, and then go ahead and come out as far as we can, like so. So here we go. We got these, and we need to add another anchoring pillar. So let's go ahead and do that, and then attach it to the ground. Then once attached to the ground, that will let us attach these right here. And then I think that's good to go. I think we are good. I'm just checking the walls to make sure we can add railings later. Yes, we can. Awesome. Okay, so now it is time to actually get started building the walls. So at this point, this is what your build should be looking like, or pretty close. I know when we build this close into like a giant stone wall like we have, it can be a little tricky to get the initial foundation placed exactly the way it's supposed to be, so that kind of like the rotation and the positioning of this lines up in such a way that all the pillars and ceilings actually go where I showed they go. So if they didn't and you had to do a few workarounds, that's totally okay, but you should end up with something pretty close to this. I would recommend, however, if you did have to do some workarounds, that you watch the rest of this tutorial before you continue building. So that way, if you have to make any more alterations, you don't have to waste resources rebuilding something that my tutorial didn't cover for whatever reason. But for most of you, hopefully I worked it out in such a way that placing the initial foundation is something you can easily replicate. Let's go ahead and get started on the walls. So here's what we got right here is what we need to do is, let's see, I need a fence foundation. Let's go ahead and place a fence foundation right there, and a fence foundation right there. And then let's add in a gate frame. It's going to snap to those wood foundations, or wood fence foundations. Add it right there, and then what we can do is we can add some ramps. Now, you notice we're obstructing, and if you press Q a couple times, it will snap to the right spot, hopefully. You can do that right there, and then press a ramp and snap that right there. Okay, very nice. So once you have these in, your gold, we can add the door. Now we need to add all of these, all the walls. So let's go ahead and let's do that. So for the walls, let's, of course, work on the bird garage first. So for that, we are going to want a wall right here. You're going to want to go up 3 high on this. Bring it out 1 more. Oops, and it's going to maybe want to do that. You don't want to do that. So bring it in, tilt your cursor down a bit until it turns blue, and then place it. Then you can place these up. And then here you're going to want a door frame. So let's place a door frame right there, of course. And then you're probably not going to want a door frame right here. So let's go ahead and place this 3 up as well. Oops. That's going to do the same thing. So just make sure that you place it with the blue side showing you. All right, so now that we have the walls here, we're going to leave the top alone for just a moment. Now we're going to come out here. Now this room here, this is going to be a little different. Here, you're going to want another door frame. This is going to go to another room. You're going to want, an Adobe wall right there. You're going to leave this open. Then let's add some greenhouse glass right here. Let's go 3 up. And then let's go ahead. Let's add, let's do a door frame right here. Why not? And then add greenhouse glass across here. And then Adobe across here. And on each of these, you're going to want to go 3 up. Okay, wonderful. So let's go in this room now and let's fill this room out. So let's do an Adobe wall here, an Adobe wall here. Make sure when you're inside that this faces you. And then we're doing an Adobe door frame right here. Make sure it's blue. And then we'll do an Adobe wall here. And then greenhouse glass, greenhouse glass. Okay, and then you're gonna want each of these to go 3 up as well. And this is what it should look like. All right, so now let's go ahead, head out into our main room. So this is gonna be a big ol' area here, and we're gonna do some multiple height things here. So let's do an Adobe glass wall here, 2 up, and let's make sure that 2 up one goes 3 across. There you go, so it's just like that. Then you're gonna wanna come over here, do the same thing with Adobe walls here, like so. Oops. There you go. And then just make sure they're 2 across or 2 high as well. All right, very nice. And now let's go ahead and move over here. And now we have greenhouse walls that we need to put up. So let's put a door frame right here. And notice how it's attaching outside. You want to make sure this is flush. So do that. Just make sure the blue side is inside and the green side is outside when you are placing. And then this one is going to go 3 high. Same here. 3 high. And then 3 high. This one is going to be that. Actually, you could make this regular greenhouse glass if you want. Should be fine. And then this is going to be a little tricky here, this bit. You might want to come up to the other side and place it like so. Yeah, there you go. Just so it does that. There we go. That's better. Okay, there we go. So now we have this. And then this, of course, is going to want to be 3 high, like that. So it's just like this, okay? So once we do this, we need to kind of section this off here because we're going to be putting a ramp here. So let's go ahead and put an Adobe wall like so, blue side facing out. And let's make this middle one a door frame, and then another, I'm sorry, Adobe wall. And then let's bring that up 2 across. And then on these last 2, we'll go 3 high just as well. All right, there you go. So now we have this door frame, and we have kind of a mismatched kind of look here. Now we could turn this around if we wanted. It's kind of an idea, but this, I feel like this wall and this wall look kind of nice, just being nice and smooth. And this wall adds a nice little counterpoint to that, but I want some more counterpoint. I need more. So this wall is staying facing out this way. And what we're going to do is we're going to double stack these. So we're just going to do this. You're going to bring it towards you so you can double stack it like so. And yeah, it's kind of a neat trick that ARK is now letting you do. Although it's sometimes a little tricky on the placement. Just change your snap point cycle key to get it to fit correctly once you have this down. You just do this all the way across. Now it's time to place our little roof. So take your stone sloped roof and just plug it in right there. Awesome. Now we can proceed up to here. Now this is pretty cool. Now we get to really make this build shine. This is the part of the house that I'm really excited about, okay? So, of course, Adobe walls here, and this is just, of course, 2 high for now. So 2 high right there, and then we're gonna have a greenhouse right here. So just 2 greenhouses. Make them blue so that they so that the Adobe doesn't come through here, and then we're gonna, of course, do greenhouse all the way across. Like so. And you want them 2 high for now. Yes, they're going to be just right, just like this. Okay, very nice. So that's kind of neat. Okay, great. But here's what's going to make it sing. Let's add some pillars, okay? Let's add a pillar right there. Let's add a pillar right there. Let's do the same thing here. Let's do pillars right there. And let's see. Was that, that's attaching correctly, I think. Okay, and then there you go. Pillars too high. Just like that. Looks pretty good, right? Okay, next is this. So we're going to do 2 more. Actually, we're going to just do it like that. Make it blue. Okay, very nice. And then we're going to add a greenhouse door frame right here in the corner. And then you're going to add this, of course, going up like so. There we go. So this is too high for now. And then this, of course, is going to be Adobe, and then Adobe. We're going to go Adobe right here. Now that's going to be a little funky, so just change your snap point cycle key to make that blue. And then like that. And then bring it up too high. So basically that anchor pillar back there, we're just going to hide it. We're not going to even know it exists, basically. All right, so there we go. We have this done, and it is now time to probably, let's work on the ceilings. Let's work on the ceilings before we add the upper room. Right about now, your build should be looking like this, so you can kind of start seeing how it's coming together, right? So this is pretty cool. I'm liking how it's coming together. So let's go ahead and start on the ceilings. So to start on these ceilings, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and come down to this part that's just 2 walls high. I'm going to place the ceiling just flush with the greenhouse glass like this. So 3 across. Then you're going to go all the way to the back like so. All right, there you go. And then you're going to put some temporary ceilings, and these can probably be thatched, but I don't have them spawned on my toolbar. So temporary thatch ceiling there. Oops, sorry. Ceiling right there. Ceiling right there. And this is just to let you do this so that the right side faces outwards. Then you can delete this once you have it placed. So do that for these 3 across. And delete those. And you come in here and you do the same for this, like so. And just delete that. Okay, very nice. So now we have our first roof done. Let's go ahead and work on our second. So here's how we're going to do this one. We're going to place a roof right here on the corner so that it's kind of overhanging a bit on both sides. And then you're going to go all the way up. Oops. All the way up to here. Like so. And cover up what I'm calling the bedroom. It can be whatever you want it to be, really. But you're going to cover it completely up. Like so. And you're going to just basically come over here, stop right here, and then come out here. You're going to ring this this sort of area here that's just sort of open. Maybe we call it the rec room. And then you leave this open. And this is what's going to become known as your skylight. So we're going to put 3 little lights in right there. So that's pretty cool. Now you may have noticed that this little bit is overhanging into the garage a bit. You'll be able to place like maybe storage boxes or something up here. So you can do that. But the reason we didn't build it up this high was so that we could have a roof that overhangs on the outside, but still be able to have it flush with the garage roof. Because when you place a wall right here, it goes right through the ceiling. You place the wall first, the ceiling will not go right through the wall. It's a little funny that way. So we're going to bring that 3 out, 2 across, and then 3 back. And then you're going to go ahead and do an overhung ceiling like so on the garage. And when you're done, it should look just like that. Looks pretty good. Okay, great. So now what we're going to do is come over here to our living area with the raised ceiling, and we're going to do the same kind of overhung look. So let's go ahead and place a ceiling like that, like this, and you're going to ring this area like so, leaving a spot in the middle for a single skylight. There you go. Looks pretty good. Okay, great. Now, you can overhang this if you want. I think I'm going to. So you may have some clipping issues. If you do, don't worry about it. Just bring it in half a step, and then you'll be good. But you're going to stop right here, okay? So this is where the overhang is going to stop, okay? We're going to come over here to this hallway, and we're just going to put an Adobe ceiling flat across it. We're not going to overlap at all because we're going to bring this out full foundation width here. We're going to overlap here and then just fill in this gap right there. Then we're going to bring the Adobe ceilings all the way over here to this pillar where we're going to stop, okay? So now that we have this, we're going to fill in the second floor of this with a stone ceiling. So put a stone ceiling, just basically a 2x6 right across like so. And then this is going to be the beginning of a balcony, which we'll fill in just a minute. But we're going to put a balcony right there. And we are going to, of course, bring this out 3 more. So 1, 2, 3. And it's going to be 2 across, like so. So it's going to be that kind of a shape. So it's kind of overlapping, coming right out here to the waterfall, which is how we want it. But we've got kind of a floaty thing going here. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and put a pillar here and a pillar here and just build straight up. Now, can I actually build straight up? I thought I could. Oh, it's playing havoc. So if you have this kind of off-center thing going, it's going to poke up through there. We don't want that. So we're going to get rid of that. And you can just place it like so and then bring it down a little bit. It's probably going to have a little bit of an issue connecting. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. You might have to rebuild some of this stuff. It really just kind of depends on how you laid your foundations out. That is a necessary aspect of this, unfortunately. But once you get it, oops, you will be able to get it. It's going to take some fiddling because it's a little, we're kind of playing with 2 slightly different snap point alignments. It's just kind of weird that way. So just bring it all the way down to the ground and anchor it back into the ceiling. And then you do the same thing for this spot right here. So you're going to bring this down and let's see, do that. Bring that right down there. Of course, be sure you are overlapping correctly, as they say. There we go. Got that. And then once you're done with this stuff, you should be able to get rid of these. Okay, I did one of these wrong, so I'm going to go back and redo it. You just do, if you do one of those wrong, just be sure you have extra pillars crafted so that you don't screw that up like I just did. And speaking of trying until you get it right, you can remove this ceiling if you want, and then come over here and then just pull this down. You couldn't do that earlier sometimes because the snap point of the ceiling would interfere with pulling this down a little bit. But once you do, you can put the ceiling back, and I do recommend it because once you put the pillar in, you won't be able to place it like so. We're going to have like some issues here, but if you put the ceiling first, you can, with some fiddling, get the pillar through the ceiling. So that's how that's going to work. And then we'll just anchor that to the ground. And then once you do, you can get rid of this. And there you go. It works just fine. Looks good. And we can continue on to the next step. Really quick before we move on to the next step, I just wanted you to know that I went ahead, I fixed this pillar using the same method as I did with that pillar over there. You could do that with any of these 3 if you have any placement issues with them not being the same height. They can stick out. They can be flush with the surface like so. It doesn't matter which way you do it, but I am a consistency freak, so I want them all the same height. So that's just me. But if you do have troubles with that and you want to fix it, just remember that if you remove any ceilings down here, you are going to remove things over here too, because certain parts of this part are going to lose foundation support. So just craft extra objects, rebuild them, and you should be fine. But let's go ahead. Let's move on. Let's start with the upper floor, the private bedroom area, and we're going to start by doing that by building a staircase with a wooden fence frame. Yeah, that's right. Now you can build it right here, but you are going to have maybe some issues with this ceiling where it's going to want to place up there, but not down here. So the way I would get around that is to come over here to this side where it's kind of open, and come over here and just place it down. Now this is going to let us build a pillar right here on this corner, and we can build straight up like so. And you just build 4 up, and that should get it all the way up to the top. And then using this, you can build a staircase and press your snap cycle button and then place it down. And it wraps right around this pillar. It's pretty nice and convenient, if I do say so myself. So once you have this up, what we need to do is we need to work on the wall. So let's start by putting a wall here. Make sure that the interior side is actually facing interior. You're going to have some issues with this getting the blue side to face you. So just place a temporary Adobe wall down here, or a thatched wall, or a thatched ceiling. I'm sorry, thatched ceiling. And then make sure the blue side's facing you before you go ahead and remove it. There you go. And then we're just going to go ahead and bring this down and around. And you're going to go ahead and put a wall right there. Let's build these two up as well, just really quickly. And then let's make these all greenhouse. So you want these to be blue so that the Adobe doesn't poke through too much. And just make sure they, when you place them, they are the blue side all the way across, because I had some issues with this in the previous take where I kind of screwed everything up, and all these were, you know, this one was like sticking it out a little further than this one. It was weird. So just make sure you do it that way. So let's build up these too high as well. And then over here, this is of course going to be your doorway. So let's add a door frame, blue door frame, and then a glass wall above it. All right, there you go. So now we have our bedroom. We need to add our ceilings. So to do this, we're going to put a ceiling right here, and a ceiling here. Just follow me, because we're going to also add in a skylight. Ceiling right here, and then you're going to have a problem. You're not going to be able to put a ceiling right here, so just stick one right there. It's okay. And then we'll overlap like so, so that this goes like that. And all the way around. What is that? Oh, that's my dragon. Okay, there you go. And then we leave a gap of 2 in here for a skylight, a decent sized skylight. All right, there we go. All righty. So, ooh, okay, almost fell off. Let's go inside. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Now we just need to add a couple finishing touches. Railings and doors, basically. So we're going to add a metal railing right there so little Timmy doesn't fall off. And then, of course, around here, you're going to encircle this entire area right here with metal railings. And if you did your pillar work properly, you won't have any placement issues. So you just go right here. There we go. Go all the way around. And we got a nice little spot right here. Looks good. Now let's place a door in right there. And then, of course, we're going to do that for all of these other areas. This one's a little special because I don't want you walking out here. This is just decorative. So we're going to place a railing right there. And then we're going to encircle this area with railings. All right, so we got the area encircled with railings. And now we place a nice little door right there. And then let's head downstairs to this area and do the same here for this little balcony. Very good, very good. And then we'll place a door. And of course, we'll do this for the rec balcony as well. There we go. This is looking pretty good. Now let's place this down. And now once we go ahead and work on the interior here, and to do that, we need to go ahead and place some Adobe doors right in the garage, right in the bedroom, and over here in this spot too. So 3 Adobe doors. And we're going to, of course, leave this open because there's no point. It's just a hallway. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so right now your build should be looking kind of like this. It should be roughly in this shape. If it's not, you did something wrong. But if you followed along the tutorial, you should have done exactly what I did, and this should be what you got. So let's talk about the paint scheme, because I went ahead, I painted this off screen. It's just faster that way. And so let's go ahead and talk about the paint scheme here. All right. So the roof and let's see, down in here, the walls and the doors and the door frame, and not the doors, sorry, the gate frame and the garage and your Adobe foundations and your Adobe ramps and all that stuff. Like these things, they should be tan. Basically tan. Oh, I have a beard. So basically tan. And tan should go on regions 1 and 6, like so. And then for the accent color, I used black. And you put black on 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that gives you all this kind of neat stuff, which is pretty cool. For the regular old Adobe door, you want black on all regions so that everything is nice and black and it fits the door frame. And then for the Adobe gate, these things, you basically want regions 1 and 5 to be black. And let's see, you want region 2 to be orange dye. That's the copper color I used. So it's basically how that works. And then glass railings, and no, not glass railings, although that would be cool. The glass, the railings, and the metal staircase way over here, those should be orange on all 6 regions so that you have a nice consistent sort of copper palette going on there. And the balcony pillar tops, let's go upstairs. I'll show you those. Just the pillar tops on the outside balconies, you paint those tan too. And then one more little thing. By the way, yeah, okay. Down here, the ceilings for the interiors, I just used plain vanilla, but I colored the wood black to match with this a little bit better. And to do that, I basically set it to region 2. So black, like so, region 2, spray paint, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of how that works. All right, so after I am done with... Oh, I just noticed that looks a little weird. Just don't look up. It'll be fine. After I'm done with this video, I'm going to go outfit this place with like a lot of PC mods. We're going to use a lot of eco stuff just to make this look super pretty, even more pretty than it has been. You know, you'll be able to see that in a video I'm releasing in a couple days where I talk about the trial and error I went through to come up with this build. So definitely check that out. And to do that, you're going to want to hit that bell icon next to the subscribe button to get notified. And you're going to want to do that anyway, because this vid, it's part of a whole channel full of ARK building videos and tutorials like this released every weekend. And so once you hit that bell icon, become a little more creative by clicking on one of the 2 videos on your screen. And I'll see you next time. And in the meantime, go make something awesome.